When I looked at myself in the mirror this morning, I was like, wow, I really turned myself into my dream girl. I am financially independent living in New York City. I have clear skin. I'm pretty. I graduated from fashion school. I'm pretty confident with my body. I have amazing friends and an amazing relationship. Like, it's honestly so mind-blowing to me how much I've done. If you are passionate enough to love yourself and want to grow, then you will be able to do this just like that. So if you want to be able to become a dream version of you, then don't worry, because your online bestie is here and I got you. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Charlize Chu, and this is my online bestie podcast where I teach you guys how to just be the best you in every way possible with very honest advice. And if you want to continue hearing my episodes, then make sure to rate and review on Spotify. And if you're on YouTube, then like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. I know I say this about every episode, but I am genuinely very excited about today's episode because I am doing a new little segment on the Online Bestie podcast where I do a bestie to bestie segment where I basically just answer your very specific questions that you have, because I know I can make videos about certain topics, but I want to make sure I am getting your specific questions and like help you guys with certain problems that I might not get into in other episodes. And I just think this is very personal that way. So I've broken it down into like 4 different topics. So 1 is mental advice with like your mental health, your mindset. Number 2 is physical advice, physical glow up stuff and working out. 3 is adulting and growing up. And 4 is relationships, which you guys sent so many questions about relationships and I am happy to answer them. So let's just get into it. First, we're going to talk about mental glow up, which, as cheesy as it sounds, you're not going to be able to do anything if you don't work on your mentality. And all other aspects of your life will be easier to go through because you're in a right mindset. So the first question sent in this bestie to bestie segment is how to stop being a people pleaser. I used to be such a big people pleaser. Like growing up, especially being an Asian girl in the Midwest, I've talked about this before. You know, I was just always trying to fit in because I'm clearly a minority out here and I just wanted to make people like me and let them walk all over me. And I carried that mindset over all the way to college where, you know, I was always just the very quiet friend and I said yes to everything. I think the biggest thing that helped me get out of this mindset was going to therapy, where my therapist taught me about boundaries, because before this, I had no clue what boundaries were. She was like, do you know boundaries? Like, what are your boundaries? And I was like, girl, couldn't answer that, you know, because before I was literally just like a yes man. So it's all about standing your ground and setting your boundaries. Setting your boundaries could be like how often you want to go out with your friends, or what you allow your friends to say to you, or what you talk about with your friends regarding your personal self. So once you set those boundaries, you know in your relationships when to tell people to stop if they're crossing it. For example, let's say you're of age, but you're someone who doesn't particularly enjoy drinking, and you're out with your friends who do enjoy drinking. Now you need to set a boundary with them, okay? Hey guys, it's okay if you guys drink, but me personally, that's not for me, so I won't be doing it. If your friends are constantly pressuring you, hey, you should drink, like, come on, just be fun, like, we're all drinking, you should do it, and you clearly told them, hey, I'm not going to. That's when you need to tell them, hey, I already told you I'm not going to. And if you guys are going to keep pressuring me, I'm either going to go home or just stop being friends with you. Because if they keep pressuring you even after you tell them to stop, then maybe these aren't friends that are meant for you. Because as a respectful person, if someone told me that they don't like something, I'm not going to do it. That's just common sense. The greatest relationships you will make with people are when you tell them what you want and they are able to compromise with you. If you are constantly just doing things to impress people or make people happy, it's going to be so exhausting for you, and you're not even your genuine self in that relationship. So is it even a true relationship? Like, you're just pretending to be someone. I had to really reflect on my relationships and then start setting those boundaries. And there are some friends that I had to just completely cut off because they clearly didn't respect my boundaries, and I always still felt like I had to please them, and I just didn't want to do that. But there are also some friends who I have set boundaries now, and they are very understanding of that, and they don't cross those boundaries because, you know, They're true friends and they want to continue being my friend and I want to continue being theirs. And just like a romantic relationship, you're not friends with people because they are pleasing you or in any way. You're friends with them because of who they are. Next question sent in says, if someone tells you you are not good at something, is that true? It's stupid, but yeah. First of all, it's not stupid. That's a valid feeling. I'm sure if anyone was told that they're bad at something, they'll probably feel like that, like, oh, am I bad? There are two ways to go about this. If you are secure in your own judgment, then trust your own judgment and say, okay, they think I'm bad at this, but I don't think I'm bad at this, so I'm going to keep doing me. Especially if someone is telling you that you're bad at something that they're not knowledgeable in or experienced in, then don't listen to them because what do they know? But this person could be experienced and knowledgeable, and maybe you are bad. Maybe 50 million people are telling you you're bad at something. Don't let that affect you or stop you. If you're doing something and you want to continue doing it, then continue doing it because you're gonna get better, okay? Everyone has to start somewhere. Me doing social media and filming, I was obviously very bad at it at first. I'll even look back at videos from a year ago and I'm like, oh my God, like the quality was terrible, the sound was bad, but I kept going and I improved. If you continue to grow and succeed, then those people who said you were bad before are gonna look at you now and be like, wow, you improved so much. And that is way more impressive than starting out good and not progressing at all. If we let every negative comment affect us, then we would not get anything done. There's so many businesses out there who get rejected all the time that end up doing so well in the future because they didn't let the rejection stop them. Okay, this next question I love is, when was the moment you realized you were on a healing journey? Was it a certain thing or your mindset that started being more consistent with positive affirmations? A healing journey, that is very different on everyone, and it's not like a linear process. You could be on this like uphill trajectory for maybe like 2 months and then you kind of stop and then you go up again and then you stop again. It's honestly all about time. I would say, like, honestly, throughout your entire life, you're going to constantly just be on a healing journey because we're all healing from something. There's always going to be something bad that happens that we're going to grow from. I would say it's just a matter of being intentional, and if you want to grow and be better, then you're gonna put in the work. If I could pinpoint the exact start of my so-called healing journey, I would say when I finally went to therapy for the first time and actually took actions of my own emotions, figured out how to control them. And then, for a while I stopped going to therapy and I wasn't doing anything and I fell back into old habits. But then after that, I started doing more research again and then learning and figuring out ways to improve myself. You just gotta live every day, one step at a time. So don't focus too much on trying to see progress every day, and just focus on the work that you're putting in because you're gonna see that progress later down the road. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the physical advice. How do I really glow up, okay? Because all my friends are glowing up and being pretty, but me. You are not going to see physical glow up until you learn to accept the way you look now. Unless you're gonna get surgery and Botox, you're still going to be who you are after a glow up or after you lose weight or you learn how to do makeup. So appreciate how you look right now and learn to love you so you will love you in every version. Because if you don't feel confident in who you are now, you're gonna physically change or physically glow up but still not feel that confidence, okay? Because it's all about the mindset. Obviously, you need to eat better, go work out, skincare, hair care, all of that to physically glow up. Like, that's going to improve your hygiene and the way you look physically, yes. But that is not going to change the way you feel about yourself until you work on your confidence and self-love. That might not be what you want to hear. You genuinely want to hear like, oh, I want to turn into like freaking Bella Hadid tomorrow, but you're not going to turn into Bella Hadid, okay? In these next few questions, I am going to get more into a lot of physical workout stuff as well, but Mindset, baby, mindset. This person is asking, I was wondering how to be able to have a little sugar treat here and there while trying to eat healthier. Usually after I eat, I feel like I gained 10 pounds only to realize the next morning I lost weight. I also really want to be different when I go back to school. I don't want to be considered the lame old person I used to be. I want people to like me. You can still have a sweet treat even if you want to lose weight, everybody. It is all about portioning. I have gone through, like many other girls in this world, so many different types of diets, but you can still have a great body. Honestly, even a better and healthier body that doesn't bloat as much if you allow yourself to eat what you want, but just portion it and balance it well, okay? I saw this video of this girl talking about how she allows herself to eat at least one thing that she really enjoys every day. So that could be like ice cream, chocolate, bread. When you allow yourself to eat that every day, you're not gonna crave it as you would if you restricted it. Because when you restrict yourself, you're literally gonna think about it all the time, and it might lead to you binging it whenever you allow yourself to eat it. Eat healthy, whole foods 80% of the time, and then 20% of the time, give yourself a nice sweet treat or whatever you want. And that could be every day. That could be like a piece of a chocolate bar every day. As for wanting to be different to get back to school, in order to do that, you can't think so much about what other people think of you, okay? When you're gonna focus too much on that and like trying to prove something to other people, you're probably gonna be disappointed in the long run because the expectations that you have in your head are probably not going to be met because they're so high. Like, I know that feeling of just wanting everyone to look at you and be like, oh my god, like you're so amazing all of a sudden. When you don't care at all about what other people think is when people are going to be like jaw on the floor, oh my god, this person is amazing. At the end of the day, even if I did really show people up, they're not going to tell me to my face, you know, they're just going to think it internally, but they're not going to say anything. And then I end up being disappointed and I'm like, okay, well, that didn't do anything. Everybody is way too focused on themselves to even really notice you that much either. They're also probably trying to figure out how they're going to show up to school next year and really shock everyone. Next question, how do you keep the motivation for working out or for doing something? I made a video about this on TikTok and Instagram at Shark Style if you want to go check it out. But having motivation for something is all about making it easy and fun to do. So I really like this book. I probably mentioned it on my podcast before. It is the ultimate self-care, like growth mindset book. It's called Atomic Habits. Teaches you how to make habits easier. Realistically, things that are good for us are not that fun to do. For example, working out. Maybe find a friend to go work out with you, because I love hanging out with my friends. I love gossiping with my friends. So if I bring a friend to work out, it's like a whole nother hangout with my friend, and it's fine. Like for me, recently what I've been doing is 30 minutes on the treadmill, which is usually very hard for me, but I'll either put on a very scary crime podcast, which I love, or I'll talk on the phone with my friends, which make the 30 minutes go by so fast. Also for working out, you will be way more motivated to work out if you look cute, because if you don't look cute, who wants to do anything? Sometimes we even get comments like, why would I invest in workout clothing? Like, it's just gonna get sweaty, whatever. But if that's what's gonna get you to be healthier and go to the gym, then that is way more beneficial than spending that money on clothes that you just kind of wear out. And piggybacking off of that, someone asked, I want to get more fit, but have not seen any results. What could I be doing wrong? There could be a lot of factors that are wrong, but first you need to determine what results you want to see. Is that losing weight, slimming down, gaining muscle? Like, what is that goal for you? Are you doing the workouts for that goal? Because if you're trying to get toned, like, you can't just be doing cardio. You need to be lifting weights and stuff. Are you eating well? And not just eating well, but are you portioning out your food well? Because you could be eating well, but you could still be gaining the weight while eating well because you're eating way too much of it. If you're doing weights, make sure you are pushing yourself. I know it's not easy, but doing reps till failure will literally be the most effective because you are genuinely working that muscle out. If you are doing weights and you're not even feeling that sweat coming on, then it's probably not working. When you're on the treadmill, if you're just doing like 1.5 speed, you're like barely walking. I think I might have to turn the entire relationship section into a part 2, but I'm gonna go into the last section, which is adulting, growing up. I was someone who was very spoiled as a child, okay? My parents basically did everything. They did my laundry for me, they drove me to school. So when I was just put in by myself in New York, I really had to learn how to adult hard, and it was confusing, but you know, when you're kind of thrown out there, you just kind of learn how to do it yourself. So I'm actually really excited about this topic. I don't think I've talked much about adulting and growing up really in my podcast episodes. So the first question is, I'm in the last term of high school and I'm kind of freaking out. Do you have some advice for this stage of life? High school is still very young, but it's still very valid to be scared. I mean, you're going to be graduating, going out there in the real world, whether you're just getting a job, going to college, whatever it is a big change. But I think it's also important to note that you are very young and it's okay to not know what you want and make mistakes and experience things and decide to change your mind. If you're deciding to go to college, for the most part, you're going to choose a major. You don't actually know that much about it, and you're going to go in the middle of the major and realize, you know what? I want to change my major because I hate this. And that is okay too. This is honestly a very exciting part in your life because you are finally getting to figure out what you like, what you don't like, what your values are. Because I feel like when you're in high school and like middle school, elementary school, you're like put in this box. You're just going to school, learning what the school wants you to learn. You're doing all these other things. Your times are preoccupied and you're not able to experience and know what you like in the world. But now is your time. So try a lot of different things. Go join a club. Go try different workouts. Go meet new people. You're going to make so many mistakes. Don't let those mistakes bring you down so much. Use those mistakes to lift you up and grow. I think it's also very important that you are surrounding yourself with good people during this time because you are really trying to figure out who you are. And if the people you surround yourself with are bad influences, you might go into a very bad direction. And some people don't know how to get out of this path. You know, I was lucky enough that I used to hang around pretty bad people, but I was very self-aware that, you know, these are not people who I'm comfortable with. And I know that I don't need them in my life. So I left and made new friends. Next question, how do I even deal with being an adult? I don't even think anybody knows. I'm only 22. I don't even think I'm that old yet. And even all my older friends who are like 30 are like, I don't even know. Like, what does that even mean? I really don't think anybody knows what it means. What I do know is that everybody is on their own path. And especially in your 20s, you're gonna see all these people who are the same age, but in very, very different stages of their life. We can be doing whatever we want. And you could see someone who is literally starting their own company and being very successful at it. Or you can see someone who's still in school and going to grad school. And that's okay. Be very secure with your journey and know that yours is unique to you and whatever you're doing is the right path for you. And don't compare yourself with other people because that's not going to help you because you're not them. You weren't brought up in the same situation as them. Last question of this bestie to bestie segment, I'm going to do a part 2 where I just literally talk all about relationships because I have so many questions about relationships. Could you share tips on how to afford New York City and get there? It's my dream place to live. New York City is amazing. It's also very, very expensive. To be very, very transparent with you guys, my first 2 years was my parents helping me like pay to live in New York City, like paying for my rent and paying for my dorming. After that, I have been financially independent, like I'm paying for myself because throughout college, I was just working as a social media creator and saving up my money, making more money, and now I can pay for my own rent there. So if you don't have someone paying for your rent for you in New York City when you first move here, I would say if New York City is your goal, to start creating a savings account where you put in your money so you can save up to afford New York City. How New York City works is that you have to be making 40 times your rent. It's probably like 6 figures a year. Realistically, you know, that might not be for everybody. Or I have some friends who aren't making 6 figures a year. They don't live in the city, but they live like far, like an hour away from the city, but it's still pretty accessible to get into the city. But with social media, there's so many ways to make more money now. Like you can figure out all these ways for passive income. That could be investing, starting your own online business. You know, I have a lot of friends who are doing like online coaching, and they're all doing that and being able to use that to just pay their rent. You know, I have friends who like obviously make their own income from their corporate job or their regular job, but they find other passive ways to just solely pay their rent. And then they use what they make at work to pay for other expenses in their life. Making money does not end at just your job now. I feel like when I meet a lot of people in New York City, they are able to afford it because they are not just making income from one source. They're making it from so many different ways. And I am constantly learning new ways to make different types of money, and from like literally every other place. I have an accountant now who's helping me with everything. So yeah, to sum it all up, save up, learn new ways to make more money. I really loved filming this episode. It was so fun answering your questions, and I hope you guys liked it too. Comment if you guys are liking these bestie to bestie episodes, and like I said, I'm going to make a part 2 on relationships. So if you want to send in more questions about relationships, of anything, also comment them below, and also put it in the Q&A section of Spotify if you're listening on Spotify. Thank you for listening, and I will see you on the next Reset Sunday. Bye!